people have to work all the time, while some people scam and steal other people's money to make them keep on having to work. But you know what? God has a plan for them too.
very well deserved, I think, as far as
And it would also honor the 400 people that bought bricks to put that park there, and that would be the way to do it. I don't understand it. All I can say, and you and I've talked about this even off the air, is that there must be something that we don't know about. That property somebody must want it badly, and they just want to move on, and they're going to build something else on that property. But I think it's a travesty. I really do. And yesterday, somebody, Charlie asked me, he said, "Why does it make any difference to you? You live in Guilford County." Well, when people are not treated properly, whether I live in Guilford County or Alamance County, I think it's bad. And I think the people that bought those bricks have not been treated very well.
I mean, they dedicated that area for that park, and it wasn't the foundation wasn't done right. I understand that, but they dedicated it for there, and the clock is right there, and the little gazebo or whatever you call that thing, and that was where it was supposed to be. So somebody's got an idea for that property. It's going to be interesting to see if they do take 25 parking spaces away and move it somewhere else, and what they're going to do with that land. Somebody's got an idea about that land, and it's a little bit sketchy to me, but I don't know. But getting back to politics, they say the government can't be run like a business. Donald Trump has done it. He's run the government like a business, and I think we need to, in politics, we need to elect an exterminator to get the bugs out. What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, I wish we could get the corruption out and the stealing and the lying and the cheating. That'd be nice, but that's pie in the sky stuff. There's always going to be lying and cheating and stealing. It's just going to happen. The best thing to do is make sure that when we see it, we do something about it. That's why this whole Swalwell thing is so upsetting to me. Is that now it's coming out, and people are saying this. Democrats, Republicans, members of the bureaucracy are saying, we knew he was like that all along. We wanted to say something, but they told us not to say anything, that sort of thing. And that's what bothers me. I think that they are above the law up there in Washington, the senators and the congressmen sometimes, and I wish they would realize that they're not. They're there to do the people's business, not political business.
That's exactly correct. But, we need to start focusing on the United States of America, because it's getting infiltrated, as far as, people coming in. And you look at, like Winston-Salem had a shooting, and Durham, Raleigh, they have shootings and all. And we need to focus on, managing our emergency services, and not focus so much on foreign countries that we're going to rebuild after they get destroyed over there and everything. I know people, they don't have the resources to do what they got to do, but I mean, we got to look at the United States of America the way I look at it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's what the America First thing is. Okay, we are there to help other people and other places, but we gotta do what we need here first. And if we have money left over, then let's help other people, and we will have money left over if we do the right thing. We'll be fine. The problem is that somehow there are people out there, and you hear them in the news all the time telling you that it's more important for us to deal with people in a foreign country. We need to these people are starving, so we need to feed them, and don't worry about what's going on in America. It's okay. No, you need to worry about what's going on in America, and if you've got stuff left over, let's help other people that we can help. I'm not saying don't help anybody, but you've got to help the people here in America first.
Yeah, well, I worked with an old guy years ago, and he gave me a piece of advice. and it's stuck with me ever since. And he said charity starts at home, so I believe that.
All right. All right.
All right, well, let y'all go. Somebody else get in here. Y'all have a good day and have a good weekend. You and Suzanne, be careful.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Take care. 2229224.
Good morning, Egghead.
Doing all right. Hope you are.
Oh, yeah. Well, I just had to go back and research Michael's comments yesterday, and as usual.
The dirt road that we
You know,
in
he
the country.
was talking about how much money
This
that
the dirt
the
road that
United
we in the
States
country,
gave Israel.
baby.
And when you start looking
Today
at
my
it,
name be
in
Ed.
2016, Barack Obama signed
My name is
a
Eddie Turnaround. I'm from
a 10-year agreement with
I'm
Israel
from Sweekin.
to fund
That's
down
some poor flowers y'all got.
$3.4 billion
My
a year
mama.
for
It's
military
your
aid
grandmama.
for 10 years.
And your
Prior to that,
great-grandmama.
he
Her
there
name
was already a
Holly, y'all.
10-year
She
agreement
just
where they
like
gave
me.
3.1
She a Leo.
billion
She act crazy
for
like
military
I do.
aid.
She real quiet. She stay to herself
So,
like I do.
Barack Obama in 2016 signed the order. The actual previous 10-year agreement ran out in 2018. So, of course, President Trump was in, but the agreement's been signed. And so they, in 2018, they started back over giving them that. In 2019, they started back over giving them $3.4 billion. But it's strictly for military aid. And the Israelis have to agree to spend 100% of the money back in the United States for U.S. military equipment. They can't just take the 3 whatever buy weapons from somebody else. They got to buy it back from the United States. You know, I don't know where he gets. I mean, if you 10 million, 10 years at 3.3 million, you know, that's $33 billion. But, you know, we don't give Israel any economic aid. We don't give them any humanitarian aid. And then he talked about the free health care. No, there's not free health care in Israel.
What's he talking about?
They have is partly government subsidized, which ours is too. And then they still pay premiums and they still pay copays. Now let's get to the education, the free education they said they got. And there's no free education. Go to college, you pay. The only people that get a really decent discount is a veteran from the military. The first year he's in college, he gets a % discount on the tuition. After that, he goes back to the full tuition just like everybody else. They just do that like we used to do GI Bills. The GI Bills lasted 4 years. We gave education to our veterans for 4 years, gave them the money to help pay for education for 4 years. So I don't really know where he comes up with these numbers. And then he made a comment about John F. Kennedy and his feelings about Israel. Hey, if you look it up, John F. Kennedy was probably the biggest proponent of Israel protection of any president we've ever had. Just look it up. I mean, he was 100% behind Israel. You know, and then Charlie talks about Black Lives Matter. Well, the founder of Black Lives Matter is a lady named Alicia, I think it's Garza. She's a black woman. But her mom was black. Her daddy was Jewish. You know how Charlie hates the Jews. Bunch of thugs. Well, this lady doesn't identify as a black woman. She identifies as a Jewish woman. So, I mean, where do these people get all this stuff? And you know, here's Black Lives Matter. We know what's happened there. They've taken in millions and millions and millions of dollars, and it was misused. People got wealthy off of it. They ran it. You know, I don't understand. You know, like Charles making a comment. What is it? White people don't want black people to have a nice home or nice cars, or they don't want Hispanics to have, you know, a nice. They're supposed to turn all their nice cars back in. Charlie, you know that's not true. look, if you work and you get a job and you're able to buy a house right beside of me and got the money to do it, more power, great. I don't have a problem with that. Yeah, I mean, but if you're taking money in the name of something that you're basically scamming the people, like the Southern Poverty Law Center and Black Lives Matter, you're not earning the money. You just create a ingenious scam. And you listen to people on the really smart people say this Southern Poverty Law Center is probably one of the most intellectual scams that's ever been placed. Because who would have ever thought somebody would start an organization to defend civil rights and then turn around and pay both sides for protest? I mean, who would ever suspect that? But they got caught. And, I mean, I don't mind, any of these organizations, if you're doing some good with the money, but don't take the people that you claim to be representing. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of hard-working people, blacks, that gave money to Black Lives Matter because they thought it was an organization to help them. But they didn't. Where'd all the money go? I'm just saying, we've got to stop this indoctrination of what's going on in this country. And then I looked up something about the population. I mean, we always talk about these are small groups, but these small groups add up to big groups. Right now, there's 24 million people in the country that identify as LGBTQ. That's not a little group. All right. There's also, in 2020, we had, in the census prior to 2020, we had 35 million Hispanics. Now, this is a census, so we know these numbers aren't. It's right. And guess what our population of Hispanics was in 2024 census? It went from 35 million to 68 million. 68 million. That's how many people that they know from the census that infiltrated this country in 4 years. So now you got 68 million. And then there's 49 million blacks. And then 24 million else. You got a third of the population that is a voting group. Yeah, and I mean, it's by intention. No question in my mind, it's by total intention. But we can't afford that, Harry. I mean, how can we take off? We don't, I mean, they're telling how much money our social services is costing just because of what happened in the last 4 years. But, it's just not hard to look this stuff up. Yeah, it's not hard.
Well, it's not easy. I looked it up too. It depends on what you say is it's hard when you're trying to find out how much money we give to Israel. It's hard to see because they'll tell you one thing that they give money for, and then but there's other monies that goes there too. But they'll say this is foreign aid, this is military aid, this is other kind of aid, and you add all that up. You add all that up together. Some of it isn't. Some of it is not what they're saying it is. So it's hard to come up with a number. It really is. But
I look for legislation. I look for executive orders, legislation, agreements.
Well, here's one of the things that I found that you had some of those organizations, some of those non-profit organizations that Doge was looking at. Some of those organizations turn around and give money to Israel. Well, you can track that too. You can go back and look at those numbers. And when you start adding up the numbers from every organization that gives money to every other organization, it's just, and I think they do it on purpose. They make it hard to add up the numbers. So you can come up with a number that you might go to Scopes or factcheck.org, and they'll say, well, no, that number's not quite right. I mean, it sure is hard to figure it out because there's money coming from every direction. And I think that's one of the ways that we could fix things. If we're going to give money for this purpose, let's have one place that it comes from, not 27 different places.
Yeah, well, I think the biggest thing we got to do with nonprofits in this country, we got to say, because nonprofits don't have to show financial statements, and I think we got to stop all this nonprofit stuff.
Well, I don't have any problem with nonprofits not giving financial statements, but if you get money from the government, then you need to give a financial statement. If you're just a nonprofit and you're just operating, doing your good work or whatever work you do, and I don't have a problem with you not having to speak up. But if you get government money, that's all out the door. If you get government money, you need to tell where it's going and everything about it. Absolutely. And they don't do it.
But when I see nonprofits, and then you start looking at them, looking into them, and people who have looked into them, when you're taking this much money and then 90% of it's going to administration.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a nonprofit.
Well, that's what happened to to several organizations. They found out.
It was one of the biggest.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Listen, I appreciate it. You have a good day. Thank you. 222-9224 United Way was awful. They had so much money that people were donating to them that were going to administration. It had gotten way out of whack. Now they've got government regulations that if they're going to give you a tax exempt status, and you have to tell them, about administration and stuff like that. You don't have to tell them everything, but you have to tell them something. I think if you get government money, then you need to show your accounts to them. Or if you get a tax exemption, you need to show your accounts. And that's what so if you say, well, okay, well, I'll just pay taxes on the money that we get. We're not still a non-profit. We're not making any profit, but we'll pay the taxes on whatever we have to pay taxes on. Then you can close your books. But if you get the government involved where they're giving you taxpayers' money, then you got to show your records. That's the way I would run it. 20 minutes now after 9 o'clock. I'm going to tell you about Oak Creek Retirement Community. Good morning. You're on Talk Line.
Good morning, Mr. Terry.
Hey there.
Yes, sir. According to biblical prophecy, the events in Israel preceding the return of Jesus include the widespread regathering of the Jewish people, intense international conflict that's focused on Jerusalem, the rise of an antichrist figure, a severe period that's known as the Great Tribulation. Ultimately, nations gather to battle in Israel before Jesus intervenes and establishes his throne on the Mountain of Olives that's located in Jerusalem. But wait a minute, folks. Establish his throne on the Mount of Olives? On the Mount of Olives in Jerusalem? But let's just pretend that President Trump abruptly ends the Iran war with no victory, and Iran fires a nuclear weapon toward Israel and completely eliminates that country and its people. Of course, those who hate Israel, those who refer to God's people as being thugs, I'm sure they would be delighted. But I have a question this morning, which I'm directing to the Israel haters who listen to Talkline. Since you have evidently written your own Bible, wiping out any reference to
like y'all did, like y'all wrote y'all damn Bible.
When Christ returns to this earth, where will he be located? Where will he reign? Let me repeat the question this morning. When Christ returns to this earth, where will he be located? From where will he reign? And where will his headquarters be? And for God's sake, please don't tell me Washington, D.C., or I'm going to regurgitate. You see, if Israel disappears, there will be no Mount of Olives in Jerusalem. No Jerusalem. There will be no Jewish people.
Be quiet, Jim, with that damn garbage. We know the damn truth. You need to learn the damn truth. Because your people who wrote that Bible did not write it correct. They wrote it to enslave God's children. And God's children, which is Israel, is scattered all over the world. It's not no set place over in the Middle East. So you can take that shit somewhere else.
Oh, how we need to pray. Pray for those who deny the truth that's written in God's Word. That includes one who would call in on Talkline Wednesday and tell us, oh, I'm against abortion, and in the same sentence, he would express the sympathy toward bringing any child into this world who might face difficult situations. Well, I would ask this question, for God's sake. How about another solution? How about adopting the child? And of course, they never answer the question pertaining to that. Now, moving on to another subject. Under the Trump administration, the federal officials have rolled out an ambitious plan to modernize.
I wish you'd take that damn Trump and stick him up your goddamn ass. You love that motherfucker so much. That damn evil ass bitch. Take him and stick him up your damn ass.
With this in mind, I want to flash back to the Biden administration. Do we remember when President Biden went before the Congress and he asked for $1 trillion for infrastructure? Now, here's the bottom line. First of all, only $25 billion was allocated to upgrading the air control equipment. But to make matters worse, Transportation Secretary Dougie states that the Biden administration didn't do anything to upgrade the air control equipment. And aside from the equipment issue, we got a shortage of 3,000 air controllers. Many are retiring. There's a direct connection, by the way, between bad equipment and labor turnover, and many retiring. I mean, trying to use outdated equipment while trying to maintain safety, that produces stress, and it produces burnout, so they leave. And every time they leave, that gap causes more risk to take place. That's actual fact. You mean to tell me that we have the capability of sending 4 astronauts to the other side of the moon, but Mr. Trump is left with this kind of mess? Unbelievable. Now let me go to one final subject this morning. House Minority Leader Jeffries has stated that President Donald Trump, and I'm going to quote this, he says he's the dumbest person to ever sit in the White House.
That's the damn
now,
truth.
Let's extend the conversation.
That's the truth.
Because I'm not one to tell part of the truth. That was after the president had called Jeffries a low IQ person, saying that he was always ranting about the war in Iran. Now, if folks, if I were speaking with the President of the United States, this would be my response. Mr. President, Lord have mercy. Mr. President, please. You're failing to follow the advice that was given to you by Franklin Graham. The need to exercise self-control, the need to eliminate that kind of language. Mr. President, I learned long ago that when you get in the hog pen with others who display this kind of behavior, you come out with stink on you. And the fake news just loves it. They love that kind of language so that you give, so they can have ammunition to attack you. Don't do it. Don't do it, Mr. President. Don't put yourself in the class of Jeffries, because he's another classic example of one associated with a party that has been invaded by the demonic forces of hell. Now, let me quickly say that...
You mean the Republican Party, you damn fool.
I did not say Mr. Jeffries is demonic. I said that he is associated with a party that's been invaded by the demonic forces of hell, and all you have to do...
And so have the Republicans, because there is no such thing as Democrats and Republicans. You dumbass fool, your own damn self.
Have a wonderful, safe weekend. God bless you, and may God continue to take care of you and your loved ones.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Y'all sorry ass white supremacist people can go to hell. And that's where you're going in a damn way, you stupid ass motherfuckers.
I wanted to say this. I should have said it yesterday, but I didn't. You and I, we've talked about that Suzanne and I gave ourselves a lawnmower for Christmas. She wanted a better one, and I wanted a better one. So what a great gift. We were tickled to death with it. And my next door neighbor Don found it for us, and it was a good used mower we got for a great price. Well, that meant that the other mower, which was still running, was in my way. I could have held on to it and pulled parts off of it, I guess. I told Don, I said, do we need any parts off this thing right now? And he said, no, well, not right now. Well, I put it on eBay. I put, come pick it up at my house, great price. And not one there's literally tens of millions of people looking on eBay for all sorts of things. Not one single person because they have a, you know how many people look at your, not one person looked at it, not one. Well, not one person clicked on it. You know, I didn't get any clicks. Nobody looked at it and said, oh, I need to check that out, and they didn't check it out. It was on there for about 3 weeks. Well, I was sitting in my office over there, and Mark was doing the swap shop, and I handed him a note, and he didn't do it that day, he did it the next day. Well, this wonderful guy came, he called me, just nice as he could be. He said, is that lawnmower, you still got that lawnmower? And I said, yeah. He said, well, I've got one just like it, I need parts. And I said, well, this is perfect for you. I said, it's running. Well, he came by the house. Not one nicer person will you go find. He was just wonderful. And we had a great conversation about all sorts of things, talked about lawnmowers. We loaded that. And it was so funny because I had wanted to show him that it ran, you know, but it'd been sitting there and the battery was dead. And I put my charger on. Well, my charger wasn't working. So when he got there, I said, I wanted to show you that we're just going to drive it right onto your trailer because it worked. And he said, oh, that's all right. I don't need it to be working. I need it for parts. So he loaded up that trailer. I mean, what a wonderful thing. On Swap Shop, one day, and it's gone. On eBay for 3 weeks. Not one person clicked on it. I think that tells you something about the power of radio. All right, 222-9224. Let me tell you about Graham Sporting Goods. Adam on Talk Line.
Come on here.
Hey there.
Well, it's another day in the neighborhood.
It is.
Yes, it is. And listen, you know, that we might as well quit worrying about that little corner down there in Graham, because it no matter what we say here on the radio, that ain't going to change anything. And, you know, some of them boys listening down there, you know, they got the power. They got the power to do what they want to do. And they know what the real game is on this thing anyway. So, you know, we can kind of say what we want to say, but they ain't going to change their mind about it. They already done made their mind up that this is the way they want it to go. You know.
The people that bought those bricks were to sue them for trying to move that would get their attention. They might not like it, but and I'm not saying who's going to win, but I'm telling you, there are things that can be done. The problem is they're not listening. They're not, you know, you think they never listen to us. I don't agree with that. I think they do listen, but you have to be real loud. You have to have a loud voice. That's what they listen to.
Well, you know, money is what talks. The money trail is what you have to follow. It don't matter what it's on. I mean, you know, it's all about the money. You know, the fraud and the abuse and the waste. How many people do you see on one of them buses when they come by with the tinted windows on there? But they say, statistic-wise, it says it's only like 3.5 people ride that bus on the route, if that many. You know, how many millions of dollars does it cost to run the busing system in Alamance County? You know, and I'm not just talking about the buses that run around Burlington and, you know, drop you off here, and then they, in an hour we'll be back if you want to get back on. And what does it cost, $1 to ride all day, and or some mess like that? You know, we're talking about all these little buses. You know, I know a guy that used to work over at Social Services. He was an old fireman from Whitsett up there at the fire station. And after he got out of the fire department, he took him a little part-time job over there at Social Services, driving one of them buses. And he said he would go all the way down to Prospect Hill and pick a guy up and bring him to the hospital up here. Well, Prospect Hill is not in Alamance County. You know, I mean, I don't know I guess they could go anywhere in the state and pick somebody up and take them somewhere. You know. But I mean, that's just what he told me. He said he had to be down there
He had to leave his house at 5 o'clock to get there by 7 to pick the guy up and to get him to the doctor's appointment on time back in Brooklyn. That's just what he told me. And, you know, I know the guy real good. I don't think he lied about the situation. You know, because he drove the bus. And I know the guy that was in charge of the buses for Alamance County for the Piedmont section of the whole state of North Carolina. Unless he changed jobs, he's still the man. And I'm not going to say what his name is, but I know him. And but you know, so there's a lot. We're talking a lot of money involved in that program.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of money.
Hubert Davis was thinking about being fired. And like I said, I know different people on different sides of the fence. And I thank God I know a variety of people. And I know a couple of people that are members of the Rams Club. And I know that they were saying that Hubert Davis was going to be fired if he did not get to the Sweet 16. So when we were talking on this show, and not only just on this show, but all across television shows, should Hubert Davis be fired, it was already written in stone that he was going to be fired. We could do all the talking we wanted to talk, say why he shouldn't be, why he should be. It was already decided by the powers that be. That is the same thing in our politics. The powers that be have already decided what is going to be what. And as citizens, all we can do is just sit back, because we have with our partisanship given them the ability to do whatever they want to do, because they know after they lie, some not all, to us on election day, then they decide to do what they want to do. From a small standpoint as the park, Centennial Park down there in Graham, they said what they were going to do because that's what the people wanted to do. But after they have gotten elected, they're going to do whatever they want to do, because there is something to that property that somebody's going to benefit from financially. Now, the same thing has happened on our national politics. And you can hear why by what has been said on this radio show time and time again. Now, I thank you for pointing out to the first caller by talking about the Republican that also had sex with his staff member. And
she killed herself. She committed suicide.
But see, the point is, he don't want to talk about that because that's a Republican. And see, that's where the power to Congress, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, that's where they get this power. Because they know as long as they lie to their people who supports Republican or Democrat, because it happens on both sides, but there is no more doing the right thing anymore as long as you do what is best for your constituents. And your constituents will go along with it because you got an R behind your name or a D behind your name. So the American public is the problem for what we have in our Congress right now. So we hear talking all the time about money. People getting rich coming into Congress. We talked about Hunter Biden being on the board, but we just found out that the Pentagon gave a multi-million-dollar contract to a new robotics company, and the president of that robotics company is Mr. Trump's son, Eric Trump. So the Pentagon, which is headed by the president of the United States' son, gets a multi-million-dollar contract. That's corruption to me. Just like if Biden's son was being corrupt, this is corruption, because you have somebody in the family that is receiving a multi-million-dollar benefit because his father is the head of the state. But I don't hear anything from these people that says anything about that. Now we're being told, I heard a caller yesterday say, well, prices are high now.
Well, prices have been getting high under this president and under this war. And I just heard Barry, and this is why Barry can never get elected in Alamance County. Barry said that there is a budget for Israel at $3.4 billion. Yes. But there was also, since October the 7th, $18.7 billion that has been given to Israel. Is documented. Also, you have free housing, free education. When we go to education, I heard you talk about when you went to Carolina, you had to go to school, and then you go to Carolina. Well, my family was poor. I got a Pell Grant, and I had to take out loans. In Israel, you get free education. You get standardized health care in Israel that's supported by the United States. Now, what is standardized health care? Now, we can go to the emergency room and get seen. They cannot deny us in the emergency room. But when you go to your doctor, and I go to my doctor, everybody can't do that if you don't have insurance or some form of insurance. Israel, that is standardized care. You get that in Israel. And why do Israel get that? Again, Barry don't know what he's talking about, because AIPAC is a lobbying group that pays 93% of our representatives, lobby 93% of them. They get money. Democrats and Republicans, 93% of our Congress get money from Israel and from a lobbying system. And therefore, when Israel wants something, our Congress writes checks, blank checks. When we have people here in this country that can't receive health care, people here who have to take out loans to go get an education, and I'm not opposed to that. If you want an education, you do it. That's fine. But why are we paying somebody else in Israel get a free education, and our kids got to take out loans that I'm still paying about my student loans? So, but Israel doesn't have to do that. And then when you hear a guy say, and this is the blank in my mind, when you hear the guy say, well, treat it like a business, treat this country like a business. I wanted to know that right now this country is spending almost $1 trillion a year on the interest on our debt. $1 trillion a year on interest on our debt. So we don't have the money to go and spend $1 billion on a war in Iran that we still don't have a clue on what we're doing. In which the straits were closed open before, but now they're closed. And so we keep saying run it like a business. Well, you ran 4 radio stations, I believe you heard. I heard you say. You also the director of that radio station up there. I've been in business over 30 years, and I've been a consultant for business, multi-million-dollar businesses. You cannot support a business. The only thing that you are doing is not paying your debt. You're paying the interest on that debt. Mm-hmm. That's not sustainable.
It isn't. But that's the point, Michael. You and I can't run businesses like that. If the United States would stop running their business like that and run it more like what you and I have to do, then we wouldn't owe that much money. That's about running like a business. That's what they're talking about.
And the thing about it is, though, I don't know when we're going to ever get to that notion that we almost $40 trillion in debt right now. Can you believe $40 trillion in debt?
It's just unbelievable. You cannot. It's not sustainable. And as a businessman, you know it. As a businessman, I know it. But you would think that those people up there would know that $40 trillion in debt is not sustainable. It just isn't. Do something about it.
Every time they run for office, they say, we got to cut the debt.
Yeah.
But when they get up there, they do the opposite.
Absolutely. All right, appreciate it.
And if we don't start choosing sides and choose the American side, not the Republican, not the Democrat, stop making choices on who we vote for, but choose the American side, we're going to be in more trouble than we ever can get out of.
Exactly.
So we need to think about that.
Yeah. One thing I would say about what you said, Michael, is you have been you might not call yourself one, but you've been an activist. You've stepped in situations where people were being treated unfairly, and you have actually changed things. So don't tell me that it's not possible to do that. You can do it.
I've always got the feeling you cared about what on in this little podunk town. And, I got a dog in this fight. My mama bought a brick up there. And, so I'd say I got something to say about Memorial Park, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm. Well, when they start fussing at you about whether you have standing or not, if you didn't buy the brick, they would fuss at you and say you didn't have any standing. It has to be the people that actually put out money for the bricks.
Well, Mama put it out. But Mama's gone now, so.
Well, that's what I'm saying. See, that's how they would see. Well, okay, here's what I think. The people that bought the bricks have standing, and they should speak up and say, "We don't want you to do this, and if you don't stop doing it and fix it, we're gonna sue you." Well, the only people that are going to be able to do that are the ones that spent money for the bricks, not their ancestors, but the people that spent the money for the bricks, because that's how they'll get you. They'll say, "Oh no, you don't have standing." That's what they'll do. So people who bought these bricks, they could get it taken care of. Or at least try. I mean, they might not. Don't take my word for it. It might be an exercise in futility. I don't know, but I tell you what, that would be something that would get their attention.
Well, I've not been real happy with the county commissioners for quite a while. There's about 30,000 old people in this county that, now I'm not talking to all of them, but I'm sure have to a bunch. And they told me, we can't afford these raises and taxes. We can't afford you reevaluating our houses to as high as it is. It's just, you raise my house, you double what I have to pay on it now. And I've not made a thing out of it. I'm not going to make a thing out of it. I'm going to live in this house till I die. And then, when I stood up there in front of them, they said, well, your heirs will value from it. Well, my heirs, this ain't their house. This is my house. I raised my children in it. And all of my youngins have got houses of their own. And they've all got children of their own. So, and all it is more and more and more tax money. I'm just so sick of it. Back when I was working every single day, and some days 12 hours a day. Well, I always had a way to supplement my income. I just work harder. I work more. But now, I'm being 75, I know to the penny what I'm going to get every month. And I don't know what my next trip to the grocery store is going to be. And I don't know what my next trip to the gas station is going to be. But I have a little bit amount of funds. And what happened? They doubled my taxes. And now they're talking about going up some more. And who do these people answer to?
No, they answer to you, the voter. This last time you get a chance to vote them out, they didn't get voted out. You keep putting the same people. You keep putting the same people back in, not you. The voters keep putting the same people back in and expecting a different result, and it's just not going to be a different result. It's just not going to be.
Well, I think the politicians around here done got like everybody else up north, they say, well, we can lie to the people and forget, and then we'll get reelected again, and we'll do as we please.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think there's some
and
of that.
I have never liked a politician that does as he pleases.
I think there's a lot of that going on right now, that they feel like that, they have found out that they doubled the price of houses and people still reelected them. So, they think that they are invincible, and you can't ever, let your elected officials think they're invincible. And that's how, here's something, if you ever think that it's not possible to get rid of people, go back and think about Ocasio-Cortez. She was a bartender that didn't have any money, and she beat one of the biggest congressmen ever to be in New York. He didn't even run because he always won. And all of a sudden here comes somebody along that doesn't have any money, just a bartender. She had a good head on her shoulder. She's not stupid. She's a smart lady. But you can beat the big guys if you just try. You have to try. Most people don't want to try. They just don't want to do it. They say, oh no, there's nothing you can do about it. It's all over now. Let's just go home. No, if you think it's all over and go home, that's how you end up the same people that do these bad things to you, that tell you that it's going to be revenue neutral, and then they all vote for something other than revenue neutral. That's a problem. All right, appreciate it.
Well, I've tried. I brought it up a dozen times, but it's about like me sitting here, a yellow cat's at my feet waiting me to get off the phone so he can get up my lap, and about like talking to this cat.
Well, it doesn't have to be.
He don't listen.
Doesn't have to be. All right, appreciate it. Thank you very much. 222-9224. Let me tell you about you.
And I told him, I said, do you know who took down the Twin Towers in New York City? And they said, no. He said, D.W. Griffith Company in Greensboro, North Carolina. I said, now, if anybody's got a structural engineer that might know something about that, you ought to get in touch with them. And Mark said, I'd forgotten all about them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And they might be able to do something, have a solution for it, because I see that as a travesty to move that thing. I really do.
Well,
and the people that paid all the money for those bricks, they should be compensated in one way. What you need is about 2,000 people to go down there and storm the city hall, and they might not change their mind about moving it.
Well,
That's all we got to say.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Take care. Yeah. Tim Sutton has talked to those people up there about, getting pieces of the Trade Center because it was up there, that sort of thing. But look, I've already spoken with people. Now, can they didn't do a very good job of shoring up, they built on top of something that wasn't shored up properly. Is there a way to fix it where it doesn't cost $500,000? Yes, absolutely there is. And all you have to do is find, well, they don't want to fix it. There's something going on that we don't know about. That's what Michael was saying. There's something that they want to use that property for, that they think is a better use than a sesquicentennial park. So after they get this new park put in, if that's what happens, they will all of a sudden we'll find out what they want to do with it. They're not talking about. People have changed their minds. There were people, Hall, he changed his mind. He was wanting to keep that there, and all of a sudden he changes his mind. So there's something going on. But the thing is, I think it's a travesty. I really do. And you said you were going to take care of it, and now you're not. I think that's just a travesty. Let me tell you about Thomas talking about them on Talkline. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back again on Monday with more.
Thank you for listening to Alamance County Talkline on Gnostic 5 Senses Knowledge, Kings and Queens Entertainment Education.
This is a Crime Stoppers alert from your Alamance County-wide area Crime Stoppers and your hometown radio station, WBAG. Alamance County Crime Stoppers was founded in 1982. Crime Stoppers encourages members of the community to assist local law enforcement agencies in the fight against crime by overcoming the two key elements that inhibit community involvement: fear and apathy. Crime Stoppers provides a telephone number, 336-229-7100, a mobile app, P3 Tips, and web tips to encourage citizens in the community to volunteer vital information helpful to law enforcement agencies to fight against crime. Alamance County Crime Stoppers has cleared thousands of cases and recovered over $1 million worth of drugs and stolen property. Crime Stoppers pays a cash reward up to $2,500 for tips that lead to an arrest or solving a case. Callers can remain anonymous and are eligible to receive a cash reward if the information leads to an arrest or grand jury indictment of a felony offender. Your donation is critical to the ongoing efforts of Crime Stoppers to make our homes, businesses, and community a safer and more enjoyable place to live and work. Checks can be made out to Alamance County Crime Stoppers and sent to 267 West Front Street, Burlington, 27217. Crime Stoppers has been approved by the Internal Revenue Service as a 501c3 organization. Therefore, all contributions are tax deductible. Alamance County Crime Stoppers is affiliated with the following: Alamance County Sheriff's Department, Burlington Police, Elon Police, Gibsonville Police, Graham Police, Mebane Police, Hall River Police, and Elon University Police. You need not reveal your identity.